Yo, what up folks, MTG here with blue-white control with a bit of a twist. We are playing Domain for Leynine Binding. I wanted to do a blue-white video, but because we're kind of getting close to Phyrexis coming out, you've probably seen blue-white in the fight before, I wanted to do a little bit of a twist on it. And so we're using the triomes here, with Dragon Triome for red, Sparrow's Headquarters for green, and Rafine's Tower for black, to kind of splash Domain and give us access to Leynine Binding as a very efficient removal spell for problematic non-land permanents, just planeswalkers. Other than that, we're a fairly standard blue-white deck. I'll start with the mana base because that's the bit that's, I guess, the most different. We have the 12 Tri-lands, which also give you cycle lands for later in the game. Synergize really well with Teferi. A single copy of Field of Ruin for Nykthos, other problematic like man lands and stuff like that. The Tri-lands let you power out these 4 copies of Glacial Fortress, which is fairly scot-free here. We have an Otawara, both castles, a Django, and then 3 plains, 2 islands. And the reason why you see kind of this ratio is that we also have Leyline arms still, the main deck. Then for our removal spell, obviously the 4 Leyline bindings, those 4 Leyline arms that we talked about. 3 copies of temporary lockdown with the 4th one in the sideboard. Just incredible versus aggro decks or decks trying to do unfair things with online permanents early, something like auras, artifact-based strategies, that kind of thing. We have 3 Supreme Verdicts and a Farewell as our super package. We're not bothering with a Doomscar here. Supreme Verdict, just on the face of it, like Best Wrath. But then Farewell also giving you a main deck way to deal with graveyards, as well as just be able to straight up exile these problematic creatures, things that have die effects, etc. Along with dealing with artifacts enchantments. So hey, you have some of your own enchantments you need to worry about a little bit when you're doing that. Counter spell suite, we have Censor, 4 copies, Make Disappear, kind of rounding out the 5th counter spell we have at 2 mana. And then 3 copies of Absorb. And then for some card advantage, we have Memory Deluge, 3 full copies. 3 full copies? 3, which is I guess 3/4 of the copies you could run. Anyway, yeah. Gives you some card advantage, and then again, flashback for 7, just a huge swing for the game. And then for our kind of threats of our own, we've got 2 copies of Shark Typhoon, just all-star, along with Wandering Emperor and Teferi Hero of Area. Nothing really new here. These are the numbers that you normally see. I'd like to do a blue-white deck today, so we've got 3 copies of Wandering Emperor and 3 copies of Teferi. So yeah, the idea is playing blue-white control, trying to leverage Leyline Binding to give us a bit of an edge versus something like green. And with that in mind, let's have a look at the sideboard. 2 copies of Aether Gust for those red and green decks. 2 copies of Veto for control mirrors, something like Creativity, combo decks, something like Fires. Even adding Matic, they've got enough non-land permanents with enchantments that you want to kind of slow down and stop them kind of getting to go off and do their thing. The 4th copy of Temporary Lockdown for the matchups where it's good, because where it's good, it's amazing. 2 copies of Mystical Dispute for blue decks, whether that be Spirits, other control matchups, the blue-black mid-range deck, which is getting some popularity, blue-red, Slices, Dices. Again, you still bring in versus Creativity, you just want more counter spells. 3 copies of Rest in Peace for graveyard decks, whether that be Greasefang, something like Black-Red Sacrifice. Yeah. Opting for 3 instead of Juice just to get, hey, it's you get to play it. It's great. Where it's great, it's amazing, and yeah, you want to draw it. Kind of enough said there. Disable Stroke, largely for red, but there are a couple of matchups where it comes in as well. There's kind of mid-range control matchups. And then we have this Angel package with 2 copies of Stormheim Unleashed, a Baneslayer Angel, and a Lyra Dawnbringer. Because you're not playing creatures in your main deck, a lot of the time your opponent ends up building out a lot of their spot removal, and so you can kind of surprise them with a flurry of Angels from Stormheim Unleashed, and just kill them with them. Or they won't have good answers for the Baneslayer and the Lyra, which also do heavy lifting versus aggro decks as well. And so, with that in mind, that's the deck. Let's hop into some ranked matches. Alright, not being around the bush. First match in. This is normally the point in the video where I say, hey, if you're new here and you're interested in Explorer content, I try and cover as many different decks as possible. Obviously with Phyrexis coming out, I've got a bunch of stuff planned. And also, if you've got anything you want me to see me play, let me know in the comments. But please do subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Help support the channel, etc., etc. Thank you very much. Opponent is going to be on the play here. See what we're up against. Yeah, I thought... Oh, okay. The 1 land are not what we're looking for. We are on 26 lands, which is, hey, I think fairly standard-ish. Blue-white. Only having the 2 tap lands will slow us down a little bit. I'm pretty happy to just keep this on 6 and put Deluge back. We're on the draw anyway. We'll hit our 3rd land drop. We're kind of relying on it, but we at least have some early interaction with the laydown arms. Ooh. Black green. At a guess, I would normally guess Greasefang. But there are a couple of other possibilities. Fortunately, they can't take our lands. They're just having a look at them, like see what's going on over here. This should be quite telling. Like if they're not worried about it, if they're not playing like a deck that's worried about keeping any creatures alive, they'll probably just take the absorb here. Because that's like the next thing we can play. If we hit that third land, that'll be like the next. It'll start being able to interact properly. They're probably fine enough if they're playing something like Greasefang, leaving us with the Leyline arms because this only works at sorcery speed. They can kind of set up and not have to worry about it. They'll get their Hellion Angels into play without us being able to interact. But they're taking the time here. If they take the absorb, I kind of think they're more on something more mid-rangey. But with Dartboard Pathway Thoughtseize, my initial thought is definitely Abzan Greasefang. They cast Thoughtseize gone AFK. Maybe they're scaring MTG Goldfish trying to find a deck list. Alright, there's the absorb gone. We draw Teferi, which is a great draw. Well, I mean, it's a great card. It's not a land, which is what we actually want. We'll leave with the tower here. The tower. I played the headquarters and said the other one, but they're effectively the same in this situation. I'm expecting like courtyard. Ooh, okay. Lanawaways. Alright, Wayfinder could. Yeah, there we go. And there's the Bahelian. So we're against Greasefang. Very good chance we just don't get interact here if they have it naturally. They just have the Greasefang in hand. We don't have the 3-mana thing to do anyway, but I think I have to play the Castle Ventress and kind of just try and get them to respect that this Teferi that I drew is actually a counterspell. We don't get horribly punished for not playing this Rafine's Tower on turn 2 because we don't have an actual place on turn 4 at the moment. That's case for white. There is a Greasefang. We'll take a draw step. So to be fair, even if we draw temporary lockdown to deal with the Angels and the Zeta Wayfinder, we can't actually cast it because of Rafine's Tower. Yeah, I lied. This is the one where we get punished. We would be open to having that now. We are deadsies. Alright, let's go to game 2. Not so great a start. So obviously it's a little clunky here. The rest in pieces that come in. If only. There are some cases where I think it's okay here if they're on like an Esca's Chariot draw. I kind of want to bring in these things to kill them once we've got them out of the game with rest in peace. We also can have answers for the rest in peace. We have some counter spells here. The absorbs are pretty slow in the matchup, which mean they don't really get to interact on time. I think Leyline Arms is still kind of. Even the one upside of being on the Leyline Binding end of things is actually the Leyline Binding gives us some interaction for the Greasefang at instant speed, which we don't really have without the counter spells. We'll trim some stuff. Though while being able to take out the graveyard's fairly good, I think I'm fine cutting a verdict. Just like, hey, it's good versus the it's okay versus the Chariot draws, but it's not actually good versus the Chariot draws. Things like that. I do feel like I want to trim like a lot down a couple of layout arms. We're not really getting beat down and out by their like especially if they're on the Zeta Finder end of enablers. I'm fine with this. I think so. When we're on the play, at least these 2 mana, we get the most out of these 2 mana counter spells. We'll see. We will play, of course. Bit of a wonky hand, but it has 2 rest in pieces in, so we'll keep. I mean, it has it's lands and spells, but we have the 2 rest in pieces. Instead from 2, we have Angels to kind of shut them out. The worry about this is like, hey, at least if they have like double Thoughtseize, they can't take both of them, right? That is awesome. These transforming sleeves are just incredible. Also kind of annoying. I like how the noise one time, like, oh yeah, sick. That's what Okay. So this is an interesting draw. I kind of just want to get one of the reps in play. Would really like to draw an untapped blue source here. Alright, this is Informant. The thing about Abs and Greasefang is that with Witherbloom Command, they do have answers to Rest in Peace. We have to kind of respect that. So I would like to cycle the Sensor or the Shot Typhoon here. We're going to have to pass. Just so we're not completely shields down. They might not do that main phase if they don't have a third. I mean, obviously, they don't have Black Mana in play yet. There it is. There's a Shadow Sanctum. We're going to see a Thoughtseize here. Have to let this resolve. Maybe take the second copy of Rest in Peace. Taking Make Disappear is also fine. It's our best attraction piece. The Sense is kind of the techie pick because it means that we're kind of struggling for lands anyway. What do you think? I'll take the Make Disappear and then we'll end up cycling the Sensor. Let's cycle the Shot Typhoon first. We'll see. We still don't have an untapped black source up here. So now, as I say, it's time for us to do this. The Sensor staying around in hand at least is a little annoying for them. Alright, we have a Leyline Binding which costs 3. Now costs 2. And we're kind of in business. Importantly, they left us with the second copy of Rest in Peace. So they might try and like end step with the Bloom Command and then untap, kill the, and then untap Greasefang. But we've got them off of jamming Chariot here. I'm gonna allow this. I'm just gonna Leyline Binding it. We are taking some damage from Ravine's Informant. I think, given that this is all kind of stuck around, I'm gonna Binding the Greasefang here. And then if we don't hit a land, I might cycle the Sensor. If we do hit a land. And maybe our opponent has like 5th land Escus Chariot, and that'd be pretty unfortunate. But we'll probably... Why do I even talk? I should just... if I say something, I'm in trouble. Alright, we'll cycle now. Alright, we at least have land for Angel. We'll see what they have, though. Incentivized to play the Baneslayer. We'll leave Baneslayer, and then see what our opponent has to deal with it. They know there's a Lyra coming. With the Twin Angels all the way across the sky. Essentially. I like the hanger, though. Looks like I've not really seen. Oh well. At least not an Explorer. Oh, they get a Besagi. Oh, that's brutal. Not the end of the world, but is really good for them, of course, because it lets them reset Greasefang or deal with the Rest in Peace. Either or, really. I forget how much I miss 8 Wayfinder. It's kind of fallen out of favour in Greasefang, actually, because Grizzly Salvage takes 5 cards and tutors for the Greasefang to your hand. Well, tutors, it gets the Greasefang to your hand, whereas this just hits lands. While merely putting like Paheli in the graveyard, if you like. And then Witherbloom on command on the other side of that is also just so efficient. The Wayfinder's kind of fallen off a bit in Explorer, despite being only just added to the format. In Pioneer, it gets played a bit more. That's because they're doing Eldritch Evolution stuff. We don't have that yet. Hopefully in Shadows over Shadow Remastered. Check out my Shadows wish list if you haven't already. Smile. They're tanking. Are they going to Besagi now? They are. I like some Crew Chariot. I will search. Absolutely. At this point in the game, I'm kind of... Well... I'm going to search for triomes. That means we draw... Oh, we have one of each in play. What am I talking about? We want to be able to cycle these. I'm just gonna get planes. So now just try it. Now they've got some attacks. I don't know what is here. Maybe they have extra copies of Chariot in hand. I think we do this. We're not quite threatening lethal on the way back, but this puts us back up to 15. So if they have an answer for the rest in peace, and at the same time a way to get the pot heading into the graveyard, that'd be a problem. What do we have exiled? Oh, okay, fair enough. Alright, the Twin Angels get there. To be fair, the spot removal they tend to have in, like maybe they have not extinction event, extraction. The black white exile target monocolor permanent. I still don't like bringing in Aether Gust. I think it's pretty bad. On the draw here, they need to be a little bit more respectful. Maybe up Leyline arms. We've pulled it out of the absorbs anyway because they're a bit too clunky. Having an additional way to catch everything is really good. I shouldn't really be boarding out. I think just because there's a little bit of a chance we die to one of their. But we get beat down by like Rafine's informant and friends. Okay. We just slightly play draw. Ever so slightly. This looks fairly solid. Leynine Binding gives us an answer because we have the Make Disappear. It actually works out because we have an answer to Greasefang on the play from them. It's like one of those the most like I talk about it a lot, but it's kind of one of the most polarizing. Oh gosh, points in the format where player on the play has Greasefang on turn 3 with Power in the graveyard, and then player on the draw has 2 mana, or has maximum access to 2 mana and has to somehow find a way to deal with it. And the Angels. So like, there's a very few cards. A lot of the instant speed, even the instant speed removal in the format is like Fatal Push and things. Either like the red removal doesn't necessarily hit it on curve like that. They disappear. The primary counter spell, like Sensei does get there, obviously. We don't have a turn to play here. I think we just need to get this Leynine Binding on as fast as possible. We have Rest in Peace. They're not actually gonna. Oh, they might have a second hand destruction spell. They've not made a green source yet. I'm just gonna slam this. And then that'll let us hold up a 2 mana Rest in Peace, 2 mana Leyline Binding next turn. Very Give me the transform noise again. Alright, there is Greasefang. They know about as far as Heck was, so we're better off playing this one. End turn here. If they have. Kind of curious how the rest of that hand looks. Still no green source. I'm just gonna do this now. If they have another Greasefang to play, that's okay. Fair play, fair play. No sensor. Pass. And we're like between taking 4 and then either playing the sensor or we'll cycle it. Force them to make a choice. Would have been a nice turn to draw an untap land for Wandering Emperor. To be fair. We want the Sporus headquarters for Teferi. I'm gonna cycle the sensor. Okay, we hit the bonus. The double bonus. We play this. We're not cycling one of these now, but we are getting to. I think I should play Teferi draw. They might have an answer for it, but they can't immediately attack it down with Greasefang. They haven't got a mount land or anything like that. Oh, that's the best possible. Sure, pretty much. This is why we're on the domain side of things. Alright, there's a hanger. This also splashes the chariot, which is a theme. But now we need to work out which end of things we're on. We let this go to 1. I think we should just use a mana. You need to find another answer somehow for the chariot. We have a couple of shots at that. A bit shaky. I think we're keeping Teferi alive as much as possible. At least now it's not necessarily dead to the chariot attack. This is interesting. Plus.
Keep up the pace.
See what we can find. We don't have a super great incentive to play another land. We have like a pile of things to cycle now. I think playing as far as cycle. Okay. Let's cycle headquarters now, and we can untap 2 lands with Teferi. Gives us the opportunity to double sensor. Deluge is interesting. We can do that. End the turn, perhaps. I have to remember, this is game 3. Oh, the Mecha Hang is actually total heavy with it. I think I cycle sensor. Try and hit a binding. Flyer is good. Still in on this. Verdict's also okay. Just let them kill Teferi, then we can wrath their board away. Alright. Which I think is better than just making. This way they have to find something else to create the chariot, and they don't have any tokens to sacrifice. I say find something else to create the chariot, I don't have the hanger in play, but if they activate the hanger, they're not using the mana on something else. Okay, duplicate chariot's not exactly what we wanted. But Lyra can race the chariot, depending on what else they have in hand. Flames doesn't actually let me do both. Kinda want a deluge. I feel like Lyra should by the time. I'm gonna play those planes because we're pretty tight on mana. If we hit we end up having to hit another land to get past like a second spell after deluging next turn. They're gonna activate Chariot, attack into Lyra. It basically comes down to do they have an answer for the Lyra or not. I mean, for the time being at least. If they attack with Chariot and then have another Chariot and get in for 6, then okay, this is looking a bit better. I'm gonna main phase this deluge. Let's see. Opponent think about responding. That isn't that great. We have an Aganjo at least. Does a decent amount. I want the Wandering Emperor. Lyra lets us cast activated Django for 2. 1, 2, 3. That's if we take an untap land. I don't want to take the triomes cycle. That's where we're at. So now I'm fire enough just passing. We have a decent amount of insurance between Emperor, Aganjo, and all that. Rip still in play. Second hanger. I was gonna say, we did see a Sky Sovereign moment as well. So maybe they're on like double Sky Sovereign for Battalion for Chariot. It's kind of like these versus Manland. Just cycle this. Alright. Oh, Aurora makes me think we can maybe start turning the corner. There's 2 cards left. I think maybe there's like to activate the Django is only active if our opponent attacks us. Right? Similarly, like the Aurora, we can bar as a token about something problematic. If necessary, we can even like go like reset a Leyline Binding. But attacking here starts putting pressure on our opponent to kill them, then also activates the Django and Wandering Emperor hand to make sure the cards we're doing actually. Okay, I still got haste. Fortunately. This crew though, we're gonna wanna Ottawa it back. This is what, 4 damage? Letting it attack unfortunately makes a pile of angels. This is a very real threat. It depends if our opponent wants to play patiently or wait behind it. Doesn't really want to crew.
I hope you're ready to lose. Keep watch for intruders.
Her blocks. This needs. Oh, it's crew 4, not crew 5. I think I Django one of the tokens down still. I basically want to take them off of being able to crew the Parhelion. We have an answer for it temporarily, so we can kind of wait for them to try and crew it and then get them. But I think that's okay. I want to be a little careful. Do I want to kill the Parhelion? Do I want to kill the Wandering Emperor? I think this is right. Feels a little weird.
Years of training. For this? You are not much of a roadblock.
I'm gonna cycle this now. Keep Island in hand. Oh, the go to 6 is aggressive. Alright, moment of truth. Channel. Bounce Parhelion. Oh, they've activated Chariot. Oh, this does go even. I'm gonna regret not Grandbrother. Oh, this is actually kind of sick. I really hope they don't have a fatal push.
If you show remorse, you need to slow down.
I was gonna say it'd be weird flying around that deck still, but ooh, that's a close one. That's a close one. The 26-minute match, we'll get there. If we have another super long one, we'll only play 2 matches, but we should hopefully get 3 in. So I'll see you in the next game. Alright, match number 2. That last one really, really came down to the wire there. Versus Greasefang. We have to be on the play. We'll do that. Again, a 1-man hand. Alright, this looks fine on the draw. I don't know, maybe just get rid of a planes. This seems fair enough. We'll leave with the Dragon Triumph. That one suggests the most possibilities. We don't have a companion, so it still kind of looks like we might be playing fires. Leaving Marsh, Ladder or Elves, it heavily suggests actual Elves. And so I kind of want to go headquarters here rather than leave up the sensor, so that I can temporarily lock down this next turn. Depending on what they do. Second Blooming Marsh. Oh, Realm Walker. Oh, that's like the best possible way to deal with what we've done. Well, let's see what they name here. They name Elf. Alright. This is going to be bad. I'm just gonna cycle it. Run to the loose. Of the Elves in the deck, there's like if they're playing Circle of the Dream Druids, that's 3 mana. Everything else we really worry about is 2. I think I can end step, get rid of the Realm Walker, and then scoop up a bunch of their things they play with the temporary lockdown. We maybe even get Value out of the sensor here, but it's pretty unlikely. If they just go straight up, like, try and make another 3-drop, then we do. But, hey. There's a 4th land. Now, are we gonna do Realm Walker things, or are we gonna try and accompany? Alright, Leaf Cam Visionaries. This is where we get a little punish, baby. Alright, we'll Leyline Binding the Realm Walker now. And then we'll try and pick these 2 up with Lockdown. There's not a ton of pressure. The problem with leaving the Leaf Crown Visionary alive... Okay, nice. Excellent. So I can't activate this ability either. The Realm Walker and Leaf Crown Visionary, normally you only really want to commit one of them. If you're playing against a deck where you've seen, like... We'd already shown Sensor, for example. Then you only need to... You want to get the most out of each of your card advantage sources. We obviously don't know their hand. I'm kind of talking with a mouse in my pocket, but... Okay. Cycle Sensor, untap. Then we have Memory Deluge Verdict. Other things going on. Alright, they're in Courtyard. Well, this is the... You know what? This is the second time today someone has cast Clatter Company against me and hit nothing. Oh dear. I was trying some stuff out earlier, and I have to laugh, but I also feel bad. Okay. Ooh. So, versus Elves. A lot of our, like, sensor type counter spells I might leave them make disappear in are really get significantly worse here. We are generally very well set up against them, like temporary lockdown, early removal, that's Leyline Binding to clear up the problematic stuff. If they board into like Vivianing, for example, Leyline Binding is also very excellent. Just doubles up by dealing with company. Yes, that's okay. I kind of want to board in the Angels versus every matchup just to kill them. I think that these two are a bit too wonky, but the Starnheim Unleashed here could be very good. So, like, Shaman in the pack and stuff. I think once we clean things up, Starnheim Unleashed is going to be a very good way for us to win the game. I feel like I should have the Aether Dust in the deck. And then... Where are we at? Oh, actually... The Sensors are better than themselves. The 3-mana counter spells just just too slow. Alright. Let's keep this up. Let's spin that. DJ, spin that. number 2. I say, like, the control matchup should be fairly good. Well, control into Elves should be fairly good for us. Looks solid. Yes. We may be mess up our... Okay, cool. So we may be mess up our sequencing to lay down arms here, but we seem to be all good. No turn 1 alpha for our opponent. We have plenty of planes. We have to kill this on site. Although just giving them a chance to get advantage out of their card drawing engines. Like, the Crown Visionary is great. It requires lots of mana. The Realm Walk is kind of like similarly just as problematic. It gives them a ton of cards. Army and a cannon, as it were. This was unexpected. This I'm not prepared for. We do have a Leyline Binding. But we also have some other stuff. I'm going to say pass. I don't necessarily want to Binding this, because we have the Supreme Verdict to cast next turn. Similarly, if they don't deploy anything else to the board, then we can Wandering Emperor it. If they just go play land pass, I'm going to take 5 here. If they go play land pass, all of a sudden we're in a bit worse of a situation. Okay. I feel like we have to do some interaction here. So I'll cast the Leyline Binding. Oh, they actually didn't play the 4th land, they just passed. Okay, well, that one's on me. I should have just untapped. And then we'd have Wandering Emperor next. And I was like, oh, if they're going to pressure company, then we need to... That's me tunneling a little bit. I'm going to say go here. We have Wandering Emperor around. We have a shot typhoon just cycle away. They must have a super awkward hand. Or it's like just 4 copies of Collector Company. War Master. Yep. Go. We have Verdict, so I don't necessarily want to commit this Shot Typhoon, especially because we could just cast it. And if we get to like cast Shot Typhoon, we get pretty clear. They've just not had any mana creatures this time around. I'm just gonna do let's take the I'm Binding on the land. Now we're looking to go like Shot Typhoon, Shot Typhoon. Oh well. Shot Typhoon into Wrath or something like that. The tap on as the 4th line is not going to help them. My worry is if that makes a creature. This goes away successfully because I don't have too much on board to punish us for the Shot Typhoon play. The real like worry is that they go like main phase company into Reclamation Sage, which they could have boarded in realistically up to like 4 copies of. And hey, if they like Coco to double Rex Sage, you hit both of these, then we're in pretty trouble. Well, pretty trouble, in a lot of trouble. That's a Shockland. Maybe they have Vivian. I wonder. Yeah, I've not really looked into it too much because I don't really love Steely Champion and Elves. But with Nixos in the format, you can at least play much more into Devotion if you'd like to. Alright, so I'm going to put a lot of pressure on. I'm going to Verdict here rather than Lockdown because quite a lot they'll be getting back. I'd rather just not expose myself to getting blown out that hard. And then we're holding up Leyline Binding. We actually take the Circle of Dream Theater, I think. That's the one that presents like the actual biggest threat. Yeah. Making 6s. Kind of just off to the races now. I played the Summon Elves. Unfortunate one for them. But yeah, blue-white control's really hard for the elf deck. Alright. I'll see you in match 3. Okay. Alright, that's a pretty good match so far. Quite different matches as well. Like, the elf deck is an unfortunate one for them where it's just such a good match for blue-white, and then Abzan we had to kind of claw and bite a little to get through it. Yeah, and have another draw. These cards let us cast Leyline Binding for 2 mana, which actually makes a big difference here. Starting to give us some activity at least. On the draw, I keep this. On the play, I probably put it back. But hey. And looks like Kariga fires. Could be an interesting one. Another matchup where I think you can really leverage these Leyline Bindings. This is an interesting find. Let's leave with this one. I think it raises them. It offers the most questions. Not much else for us to do. Might not cycle the sensor here, just because I have us in versus Kariga decks having a counter spell on their turn 4 is kind of a bit more important. I'm just gonna go play like untap Bone Crusher. No, it's a Fable. Yeah. We might get a little wrecked here. I kind of want to draw an untap land so we can lay down arms this and then cast Sensor. That's not what that is. We have the 1 mana Leyline Binding. This gets them a lot though. We can do this later. I'm more interested in countering a possible fires. And if they don't have one, we do have the Leyline Binding at least to interact with like Fable. There's also like a chance you just main phase this here and just get rid of it all. But it's pretty committal. And then that leaves us pretty weak to Bone Crusher, just like slamming Bone Crusher 2. Alright. If they go Fable, cast a 4 mana spell before attacking, I'm gonna. This card makes a treasure. That's crazy. Alright. Oh, we need a land. I'll do this. We actually need a 4th land to actually to use this to chat with the Bone Crusher Giant. Would like to cycle the Shark Typhoon here, just to try and hit a land. But we're in a spot of bother, really. We could have held up Absorb. I don't love it. We still could Binding. Oh. I was about to say, that's a swamp. That smells like an enigmatic incarnation all of a sudden. Whereas, like, all the rest of these cards could easily... Okay, I didn't see the Binding, they'll go to the... That is me being dumb and not just not looking at what they discarded to fires. To the reflection. That's fine. Try and eat this. Oh, we have a Binding. For our Binding. Are you serious? I mean... Well... we can get the Titan. It leaves a reflection in play. We have absorbed a Fairy, Shark Typhoon. I mean... I think we take the Titan instead of taking a reflection, but... Oh. Right, yeah, I forget. Titan blows up. Right. Well, don't we look a little silly with our fancy control deck? The 4th land at least. 4, 8. We are just dead. I'll pass this turn, see what they do. Maybe get a... the Rhinos don't have trample action. I'm just alright. Make a reflection, the Titan attack us for 22. We can block 4 of that, which still has us dead. Okay. Or cast the absorb, go up to 19 instead. Right. Aether Gust is a lot here, Disable Strength is a lot here. These temporary lockdowns are not up to a lot. These Leyline arms look a little suspect. Disputes and vetoes are troublesome. We catch them enchantments, so they like binding themselves get a little bit worse, so I might be tempted to cut them just so we can kind of lean into the farewell a little bit to clear up their stuff. And kind of want to bring in these Thornheims to kill them. The Leyline arms aren't fantastic, but they can deal with Bonecrusher Giant and friends. Front half of Fable. We have verdicts and stuff. Oh. You know, because we have so many claims. I'm more likely to do this just because Leynine Binding is a little awkward. No. This hurts a little bit. I want these vetoes. I don't think I want the disputes, right? Yeah. We can try to interact with them on that angle. -1 verdict. Try and leave it even here. I'm cutting down on Wandering Emperor. It's not doing much. Alright. Yeah, this is a trickier matchup. The Leyline Bindings are good, but obviously we got a little exploited there with the end step binding our binding into using the enigmatic incarnation to tutor for an answer to the binding. Pretty cool. We got. On the play though, alright. Mulliganing again. This looks alright. Bottom of Graceful Fortress. I'll lead off with headquarters. Alright, okay. Let's see what's up. Well, we have a 3 untapped lands. Making sure we try and, like, have a window 2 and then also find a way to turn the game into 8. You have to discard. Doesn't seem right. I'm going to cycle Sensor here. We already have the absorb. I kind of want to make sure we have a 4th land. It's another way we just kind of instantly lose. This is the, like, when I play a bounce land in Commander without playing anything feeling. Alright. We're in a position. I talked about having a ton of planes, and then obviously we hit all like the glacier fortresses. Rather just the problem with Leyline Binding to answer the fires here is that they can just immediately play another spell off of it, and all of a sudden you're a step behind. That being said, not gonna be able to do it twice. Now they can do 5th land and then cast it into Karuga. So that's not the same. Alright. Look for castle. Play a planes. Now they can just straight up cast Karuga. What else they got going on though? Maybe we're gonna get cavaliered here. Actually, no, not out of the enigmatic version of the deck. It's interesting. Most of the time when you see the enigmatic incarnation deck, you see the Orion version where they can just have a ton of different targets. I'm not seeing a ton of using Karuga instead. They don't want to commit, and now the castle, which gives us a little bit edge in this kind of back and forth. Have they got some end step stuff to do? Okay, there's no end step like I can't remember what the card's called actually. The 6 mana like a draw to make a zombie uncounterable card. It's like a zombie equal to the power and toughness of the cards you have. I want the Doman's Veto, do not want the Censor. That makes me feel a bit better about this. Mana advantage. Django is a good answer to Veruga. I like Bugtree Giants. I think I'm going to hold on to it for now. We're not at a point where I like mana racing yet. If we get to sit here and like play pay, draw go, and then just pass to us with. I'm so worried. I'm so worried. I don't think I want anything else. You can maybe catch them if they try and shuffle away with. Oh, I missed them for setting up like Omnath. I want to try and draw the Teferi. Actually, Shot Typhoon's an excellent one. Maybe a reason to play the Django. Yeah, I think so. A good enough reason. Apart from Leyline Binding, the Fires deck is largely wanting to play it at sorcery speed. I'm going to veto this. Even though, again, by itself, Leyline Innocuous, it just, every single card in my hand, it makes better. You get to make, what, 4/4? Fine. Binding on the token. Okay. Happy to see that being brought out. Leonine Arm's not exactly what we're looking for. Castle's a nice one. Alright, now we don't have a counter spells. We have the Binding. That's there. But now we can start making tokens, scrying, and doing our thing. The scrying probably more important right this second than the token making, but let's see. Alright. There's Fires. They can go Fires Karuga. I'm gonna Binding now. Get rid of the Binding so they're only drawing one card. No! 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 Why on earth? Why would you do that? Why would you do... Oh, gosh. Okay. Just... Okay. Alright, alright, alright. When I say get rid of the Binding, I just like... Cool, cool, cool. No problem. Ah! This has gone poorly. The worst bit is I can't even bring this back to our hand because then they'll get to use their learning Binding. Oh, just shoot me. This is fine. Okay, okay. We've all misclicked before. I knew exactly what I was meant to be doing. I just said and did the wrong thing. Alright. I'll take a hit here. I'd kind of rather scry in this position, depending on what they follow up with the Kuriga with. Just gave them a free Leyline Binding. I can't believe it. I'm still shooked. What are they going to target here? Do we make it somehow valuable? This is the most complicated thing I've seen in a while. Alright. This is actually kind of sick because we can do this before they get to cast off of the fire off of the Fire's invention. They have a mystical dispute. Alright, fair enough. Well, we've certainly wasted a lot of time. That's... Well, here you go. Here's a fun one. This is one of these, like, I post everything I record moments. Hey, if you're still watching it, like, 45 minutes to the video, you get to see me absolutely punt. And so, hey, if you're still here, appreciate you for watching. Well, um, There's the go. There's a chance like main phase memory deletion here is the right play. That is problematic. We at least have. You can't even say we at least have a. Alright, okay. Oh, memory deletion response. I need to know what we're working with. Oh, they maybe have a dispute. Leyline Binding. Not even dispute. So Leyline Binding actually does deal with Coma a little bit. This is immune to Wrath effectively because at the beginning of each upkeep you make a token, and then it does like taps things or it gains indestructible. This is gonna hit me. What else they got going on over there? Second Kariga. Alright, just don't click a Leyline's Binding. Whatever you do, don't click a Leyline's Binding. Then you get to draw a pile of cards like. Alright, they get to refill. We have Veto plus Verdict. I don't feel like it's like the end of the world. Now we have Delusion of Graveyard. What are we looking at? He has a somehow, because this is here, I actually want to play it out. That turns our lay down arms online. It doesn't quite. 1, 2, 3. Just like comedy of errors today. It does make it closer to being a live card. 5 is a pretty important number for dealing with a couple of different cards in the deck. It's kind of what I left in here. Again, I talked about how many planes we have, and then we have like all our non-planes lands in play. Not all, but a bunch of. We're on 13. I'm just gonna make a token. Here's the veto still. The thing we're most afraid of really is them having an enigmatic incarnation, which we can counter. Unless they have to. If it's creatures that they have, okay, like that's okay. If it's creatures, we can wrath them away. We have the verdict. Fables, a little bit of an exception to that rule. I think we allow it though, just because we're so far behind. And we can definitely lay down arms the backside of the Fable. Okay. Let's lead verdict. Big go. Got memory delusion up. Oh, okay. I've made this one a hard, but I think we might be able to kind of struggle back. Discarding this binding is very, very telling. It just blows up the Leyline Binding and gets them at coma. So we might be in a pretty bad spot. Oh god. Ah, that was what they're looking for. Okay. So now they can get the coma back. Leyline Bindings are only going to answer. We've got 2 left in the deck. Oh. Oh, okay. These are the ones that take 1, 2. Yeah. This guy. Oh, Shard Something doesn't actually have a shock. This makes 3 3s. This is the, like, does it just kill us back jacket? This can sacrifice the tap thing. Which is, like, almost good enough. They don't have any man lands. We're not dead this time. We just have to slam it and hope. We're already pretty far out of it. I really threw this one away. I don't know if that's the worst mistake I've made recording, but it might be. But it is, like, very much at least clear, like, what I was intending to do. Oh, dear. Alright. Oh. Fighting for the Shark Typhoon, fair enough. Kenrith for good measure. Yeah, they kind of have everything going. There's a lot of cards over there. Everything gets aced, and off we go. Alright, they want to mess around and make copies of things. Oh, GG's. Alright, we punted that one pretty hard. It would have been a pretty rough game anyway, but we kind of gave away everything we could have done. Yeah, thank you for watching, if you're still here. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe to the channel. If you're still watching at this point in the video, please do. I would appreciate if you like as well. And I was gonna say, if you're watching at this point in the video, you're the reason I'm making content out here. So let me know as well what decks you want to see next, and if there's anything particular you want to see once Phyrexia comes out. I have a few different things lined up, but hey, always good to know what you'd like. Have a great day. Peace out.